Joining me tonight is animal liberation activist Yourofsky.
We understand oppression and we're supposed to not support it. So I'm just pointing this out to everybody because people don't realize how much they're harming animals in their daily lives. So as I point out, the steak, the hamburger, the chicken sandwich that you're eating, the schnitzel, these pieces of meat came off the bodies of living animals who didn't want to be murdered, who didn't want to suffer and die, who didn't want to be tormented. So once I point it out to people, most people, sane people, logical people, make that next step to veganism. I just couldn't have animal skin on my body. It made me disgusted.
It's amazing that you're saying animal skin and not leather.
Well, that's what it is. See, we like to use euphemisms, which is why these atrocities take place. So we always want to say leather when it's cow skin. The term's bacon. What's bacon? You mean pig flesh? Start thinking about what we're wearing and what we're eating. Again, this is why I say sane people will make a choice towards veganism. I like to explain how this is the biggest Holocaust that has ever existed, and people get upset at those terms.
I have to tell you that I am upset to hear this Holocaust, comparing it to animals. It's a little bit...
This Holocaust is actually worse. I'm offended that we compare human Holocaust to the animal Holocaust, which is the biggest Holocaust in the history of humankind. And remove the animals and replace them with Jews. You have now recreated Auschwitz. There's no difference. You have a building that exists to torment, to torture, and murder innocent beings. You go back to Birkenau, you remove the Jews and replace them with cows and chickens. You still have a Holocaust taking place.
Animals are eating animals, you know?
Some animals. Hold it, 75% of animals on this planet are herbivores.
It's part of our circle of life.
No, it's the circle of torture and death.
When you see a lion eating a zebra.
It is unfair to pick one thing that lions do that you want to mimic when you don't want to mimic anything else they do. Lions sometimes kill their young when they're runts. Okay, if a human being killed their baby because they didn't want him, we arrest them and charge them with murder. Could you go to a courtroom and say, hey, but Your Honor, lions kill their babies, can't I?
What is your main purpose? Because most of the world won't become vegan.
It depends on which day you ask me. The world, injustice can't live forever. The world will become vegan one day.
Do you
Just
really
like
believe
all oppression will fall by the wayside, injustice doesn't live forever. And it seems insurmountable, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm in the trenches, believe me. It looks like and seems like it can't happen. But remember, it took 400 years to convince white people in America not to own black people. You can see why this is taking so long. We can't even treat each other with kindness, let alone treat the chickens and the pigs and the turkeys and the insects of the world with kindness. But I think we can treat each other with kindness one day once we learn how to treat the animals with kindness.
I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable because I just had a steak for lunch, and still I'm not convinced 100% that I should stop eating meat for the rest of my life. It's not that I'm eating meat every day, but I do love my steak on the plate.
It's not your steak. You said my steak. I'm very big on language. That steak was never yours. Okay, that steak is a euphemism, by the way. That's cow flesh. That flesh belonged to another living being. Where do humans get off owning and controlling living beings?
You have now 2 minutes to try to convince me eat meat once a month.
I don't want to convince you to do it once a month. I want to convince you never to do it. You have to put yourself in the animal's position. Imagine somebody raped you to impregnate you. You gave birth to this baby. This baby was stolen from you at birth. That baby was fattened up with corn and soy and wheat and oats. That baby was put on a concentration camp truck, sent to a slaughterhouse, hung upside down, fully conscious in front of all of her own species, screaming, terrified, in fear, knife shoved into her throat, cut up into pieces. Where's the justification for this? Where do we get off thinking that we're the most special thing that has ever existed on this planet, when in reality, we're the most unspecial thing that has ever existed on this planet? If humans were removed from the planet, the extinction of humans would benefit everything that exists. If the bees died off, the whole system collapses. If the ants were exterminated, the whole system would collapse. This is how important and special ants and bees are to the world. Why do we think we're better than they are when they serve a vital role and we serve no vital role whatsoever? We're tormentors, we're oppressors.
Where do you think it's coming from?
The arrogance?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know what has gotten into us. Besides death and torture and murder, I think when you put violence in, you get violence out.
Same things about you. Because
How?
some people may say that he's arrogant, he thinks that he knows better, he thinks that he's better than us. I'm the one to be charged, and you are the judge who is judging me right now.
Yeah, and well, there's two people in this world. There's people that judge and people that lie about judging. We judge people every day. We judge child molesters, rapists, Nazis. We judge murderers. And I know this is a shock to the meat, dairy, and egg eaters of the world, but vegans are more ethical than they are, hands down. Just like a person that doesn't rape is more ethical than a person who does rape.
A vegetarian.
Hitler was not a vegetarian. That's a complete lie. A complete and utter lie from Goebbels, his propaganda minister. Hitler did have a lot of power, didn't he? If he had all this power that he had, why didn't he mandate veganism if he were a vegan or a vegetarian? This is the power of propaganda, the power of Goebbels, still alive and well. Do you know why people think Hitler was veg? Goebbels wanted to make Hitler seem as peaceful as Mohandas Gandhi, and Gandhi was vegetarian, and Goebbels would say, wait, Hitler's just like Gandhi. He loves animals too, and he's peaceful to the animals, and he's a vegetarian. He's not, and just so you know, all the concentration camps did have animal slaughterhouses there too. And when the Allied forces came in to rescue the Jews and the Gypsies, they left the animals behind. This is why I call this the world's largest and longest running Holocaust. The animal Holocaust was happening long before the Jewish Holocaust, during the Jewish Holocaust, and it's still happening today. Every second, just so you know, of every minute, of every hour, of every day, female animals are raped to impregnate them. Every second, animals are being killed.
Do you understand that people are calling you terrorist?
Sure. What else are they going to call me? You couldn't sleep at night if they called me a compassionate human being, because I'm calling them out. And as we go back in time and look at all the other people that we adore now, collectively, we all agree, Gandhi and Dr. Martin Luther King and all these people, Rosa Parks and Cesar Chavez, do you know, they were not loved during their time. They were despised. They wanted to make change, massive change. It's only later on that a society looks back at revolutionary activists and says, oh, man, he was great. He was just trying to bring peace and justice. I'm trying to bring compassion to this world. It's amazing that I'm called a terrorist. And if I'm called a terrorist for saving animals, what do we call people that kill animals and torture animals and eat animals?